Let's back up one step. One thing that has happened now because of AI, and actually prior to the pandemic, is buyers have become more sophisticated. We used to could surprise buyers. Well, now if you're going to buy a car, you go online ahead of time, you know all the specs, you know all the dealers, you know all the deals, you know how to buy, you know how to sell. So the buyer is more sophisticated. That question that the dealer or the salesperson used to use in a B2C environment probably doesn't work anymore. In the B2B world, business to business, those questions that we used to ask, we no longer have an opportunity to ask them. Sometimes the buyer will go out, do their research, and we don't even get a look. So we want to make sure that that initial engagement with the buyer is going to be different. You and I worked together years ago when we were talking about when they had retail salespeople. You go into a retail store now, you have to hunt down a salesperson, but it used to be they were waiting by the door. And we would go in and they would say, "May I help you?" Well, that's a stupid question. Of course they can help. They know where the merchandise is. And what did we say? We said, "No thanks, just looking." Is that a true statement? No. Because if people are just looking, they're at the zoo, the museum, or the aquarium. That's where people go to just look. So they had to come up with newer questions. Now AI will come up with that question for you. You can go to any of the AI engines, whichever one you're using, and go to that AI engine and say, "I need 12 opening questions when selling Mercedes to this demographic." Be as specific as you want to. Yes. In the advanced levels of value-added selling, in the opening question, you cannot mention your product, service, company, or self. Can't talk about your products, can't talk about your services, can't talk about your dealership, and you can't talk about yourself. I've helped a lot of people like you buy one of these wonderful Porsches. Can't do any of that. So when you spot the individual, what can you, with knowledge or with intuition, assume about that individual? And you can look at their demographics. What is their age? What is their family situation? If they're coming in with a family, how are they dressed? So you can go to ChatGPT or any AI engine and say, when a buyer presents themselves at my Porsche dealership and they are dressed like this, or they appear to have this demographic, what are 6 questions I could use to open the conversation without mentioning product, service, company, or self? Talk about them. Exactly. Now, AI will help you develop some great scripts for people who have to have scripts. You have a call center or something like that. But instead of having, I read question 1, and if they give response A, B, or C, I go to that response and then I read that. Then I go to this one. It'll give you multiples. It will also train your salespeople. It will give you all the direction that you need. What is the best practice for asking an opening question in a premier automobile dealership? I am constantly amazed at what AI comes up with.